Hi, thanks for coming back to 5 Minute MuckBusters. We're on episode 5 today. And remember, we're here to explore how wellness writing can help you make it through the sludge of life. And if you can write out a few hashtags for your Instagram post, you can participate in wellness writing. Trust me. Today we're going to talk about journaling. Now I know I'm not alone when I say I've tried keeping journals, but it just doesn't work. Yes, even me. Sometimes I feel guilty when I try to keep a journal and then I don't keep up with it, which sounds totally stupid because it's not like this inanimate book had its feelings hurt through my negligence. But whatever, I feel guilt. Sometimes I don't write because I don't recognize my need to do so, which often isn't visible, that need, until you get going. Sometimes I'm afraid to write in a journal and for fear someone else will read what I wrote. And this worry can be valid. But most of the time, I stop writing in my journal when I don't like how it's going. For example, when I was a new mother many years ago, I had a lot of doubts and fears. I hadn't had many positive babysitting experiences as a teen, and I hadn't spent much time with kids and babies as an adult. I lived 2,000 miles away from my mom and sister, so I didn't have local family support. And I wasn't the type of person who asked for help from others or admitted insecurity of any kind. So basically, I was way outside my comfort zone when son number one came into the world. Even so, I was madly in love with him from the first time I held him in my arms. And I wanted to keep a journal to write about this precious experience. But unfortunately, the journal became a trash can where I dumped all my fears and worries. Now, I know that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I know that now. But at the time, I was worried that someone like my husband or my son in later years would read it and that it would become permanent and a falsely skewed record of my early mothering days and how I felt about them. When her son was born, around the same time as mine, the author Anne Lamott also kept a journal, and like me, she wrote with unabashed honesty. In one passage, she writes, "It has been a terrible day. I'm afraid I'm going to have to let him go. He's an awful baby. I hate him. He's scum. I'm not even remotely well enough to be a mother. That's what the problem is. Also, I don't think I like babies." Lamott has since said that writing offered both guidance and help from forces deep inside. She went on to publish that journal as a book called Operating Instructions. I, on the other hand, didn't have the same wisdom and courage. I stopped writing and threw my journal away. Over the 20 or so years since, I've studied the benefits of journaling. I've taught it in my workshops, and I've journaled enough to know that it can have a profound impact, especially when I view it as a tool for unzipping my heart, the shell around my heart, and creating more space to breathe. The things we learn as life goes on. For today's writing prompt, let's have a little fun with journaling. Pick a seemingly mundane, inanimate object to write about. One morning I chose my Pepsi can. Now, in just 2 sentences, describe the object and your relationship with it. Even though you're only writing 2 sentences, take as much time as you'd like and give yourself the freedom to be creative or even silly. Here's what I wrote. The mornings are mine, a blue and white can sitting on my desk like a yawning cat. It jolts me with energy, its sugar and caffeine racing through vein to brain, opening the cerebral faucet so my words can spill out onto the page. Notice how you feel after writing and if you want to keep writing. Sometimes 2 sentences are all you need, but sometimes those 2 sentences are just priming the pump and you realize there's a lot more that needs to be said. For me, writing about my Pepsi can led me to write about guilt and addiction, 2 topics I wrestle with a lot. You never know what might bubble up, even when you pick a commonplace subject to start with. Thanks for tuning in. Next time we'll talk about using lists as part of your wellness writing practice. Until then, be well and keep on writing.